Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you seen my last video, you know I was eating. I'm still eating. I'm still sitting right here doing the same thing. But I went on TikTok last night or this morning because I think I'm gonna start a TikTok. I'm doing the same kind of videos, but I think I want to start one. Which I have one, but I don't do nothing on it. It's just like when people send me stuff, I watch stuff on it. Excuse me. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl LB Johnson back with another video. I don't know if I said that. Like, share, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Anyways, I think I want to do a video, a TikTok, but I went on there. So I went on there and I was just watching different, excuse me, I was watching different Kingdom Spouse videos. In the midst of me watching these videos, I was seeing people say like, well, I seen this one particular girl was like, Kingdom Spouse is fake. There's no such thing. It's witchcraft, things as of that such. So I'm like, is she right? Like, is she right? So I know, y'all know, I get a lot of backlash about like witchcraft and like stuff like that with my because of my crystal, and I just know people always talking about like witchcraft, and I'm just not like into it. I'm not into witchcraft. Um, I'm not like big on, oh, that's witchcraft, because I feel like a lot of stuff is witchcraft, and I feel like we just use it for what's for us and what's not for us, and what we feel like, oh, that's witchcraft or whatnot, whatever. That's neither here nor there. It's not about the witchcraft. Um, but so I was questioning myself, like, is she right? But then I had a thing, like, it was like I was convicted. I guess I was convicted, or like the Holy Spirit, I don't know. But I was like, at first I was like, is she right? But then I'm just like, when I said Kingdom Spouse, first off, before I seen Kingdom Spouse videos, I know some people found these videos before they found their Kingdom Spouse. And so they talk about like how they want to find their Kingdom Spouse. Now, my Kingdom Spouse is what led me to these videos, I should say. And what also led me to these videos or whatnot. And because I knew it was something. I knew that me and my Kingdom Spouse union was divine. I knew it was different. I knew I never felt like nothing like it. I knew I never seen anything like it, but I knew that God was telling me that this man was my husband. So I just adapted the word Kingdom Spouse, because once I started looking it up, trying to figure out, what is this? What am I feeling? What is this? Is it real? Could you really dream about somebody and God's telling you that they're your husband or your wife? And I was looking like, how do I know that this person is my husband? I know I feel like this is my husband, but how do I know that this is really God telling me this? I feel like God is telling me this, but I don't know. So that's what led me to watching Kingdom Spouse videos. Also, just being transparent. It's also what led me to watching tarot readers. I got stuck. Tarot readers, and I think it started with the tarot readers first, and then no. Yeah, it started with the tarot readers first, and then what really got, okay, so my ex, the one ex that I talked about this in my last video. If you watched it, then you'll see it. If you didn't, then go watch it. The one about the counterfeits, or the counterfeits. But I talked about my ex being deceased, whose birthday was yesterday. But when my ex got killed, I wanted to talk to him so bad, right? I wanted to talk to him so bad. And I just wanted to hear from him. I didn't know what to do. I was so hurt that he got killed. And not my son father. So if you know me, I'm not talking about my son father. I'm talking about my other ex, if you know me. Okay, so I just wanted to talk to him so bad. So I went to these videos about, I went to actual tarot readers. I went to actual tarot readers trying to find somebody like who can probably talk to him. But back then, I didn't know nothing about tarot readers. Never thought about going to see one. Never thought about like a medium or anything like that. I just knew that I was hurting and I needed to hear from him. But yeah, I knew I was hurting and I needed to hear from him. And so I went to these meetings and I went to these tarot readers just trying to find answers. But it's so crazy, y'all. Let me tell y'all. So when he got killed, I knew I felt it. I didn't know what was going on. This one, and I told this story before, but I don't know if y'all I don't know what video it was when I first started, and maybe you gotta go look at it. But I told this story before. But when he first got killed, I was out of town, and when I just say out of town, this made me sound like I'm out of town. Yeah, I know that song. So I was out of town, and I remember being so sick, like I kept feeling like I had to throw up. It just kept feeling like I was just like I just had to throw up. So I was out of town with my family, and I just kept telling them like I feel so sick, like I keep feeling like I got to throw up, but it's nothing to come up, and I don't know why. And so I remember telling my mom like, Mom, can you keep my baby while I go by the ocean? I don't know. I thought I was seasick, but for some reason I want to go to the ocean. So I was like, let me just go to the ocean and try to get relaxed because I feel so sick. Someone was like, yeah, go ahead. So I went to the ocean and I was still feeling so sick by the ocean. So I came back. I said that didn't help. I'm still feeling so sick. I was like, I don't know what's wrong. This is when I first realized I was like gifted with something. So I was like, I don't know what's wrong. But I was like, I'm so sick. So, oh, I thought I was gonna be crying yesterday because my best friend, she thought I was gonna be crying yesterday, and look at me crying today. I came back to the hotel and I was like, that didn't help. I still feel sick. So my phone started ringing off the hook, and it was just ringing, ringing, ringing. I'm like, wow, these people calling me, and they were like, you heard what happened to your boy? And I'm like, who? And I had a guy. I got a guy best friend, and then it was him. So when somebody say my boy, it had to be either one of them, but I didn't know which one. And they told me, and he just got killed. It was like he was still there. Everybody went, and he was laying in the middle of the ground, in the middle of the road for hours, where everybody went there and just stayed there for like hours, just watching the police work. But I was out of town. I would have been there if I wasn't out of town. I would have definitely went there. But I was out of town, so I'm on vacation. We spent a spring break. It's April of 2000, I think 15. So we on spring break, and I'm sitting there, and if you this far with me, thank you. But we sitting there. What was my reason for making this video? Oh, I don't know why I'm making this video. Why am I making this video? I don't know what I was about to tell y'all. So we sitting there, and so I'm out of town for a whole week, and I'm just like so anxious to get back to town if I can get to him. Okay, I know why. So I'm so anxious to get back in town so I can just go to where he was last at, which was actually the last place I ever seen him at, the last place we was ever together at. So I went there, and when I got back in town, I went there. So like this whole vacation, I'm trying to just hold myself together because I'm on spring break with my son. I'm just trying to keep it together. So as soon as I get in town, I call my play brother, who I said could have been the other person. I call him, and I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta go to where he was at. So he was like, okay, I'm gonna go with you. So I was like, okay, thank you. So we go, And let me tell you how God works. So mind you, I said I was looking for a tarot reader. So I think when I picked him up, I was like, I want to go see a tarot reader. I want to go see a medium or somebody who can talk to him. I was like, I just got to talk to him. So we went, and these tarot readers, I didn't know the prices. And back then, $20 sounded like a lot of money. I thought they charged like $5. So I went to this lady house. It was a house that had like tarot, like spiritual reader. So it's late. I knocked on her door. She was like, "It's gonna be $20." So I was like, "No, I'm okay." And so I was like, "Let's just go to where he got killed at." We went there. I tell you, no lies. There's blooms, flowers, everything right there where he died at. And so I'm just crying and I'm screaming and I'm talking. And people who I knew, who I went to school with, they lived over there. So some of them was coming out, talking to them. But like when it was just me and my play brother, I would begin to talk to the blooms and I would talk to the just talk. And I'm like, God, I need a sign. I'm like, God, I need a sign. Like, I'm literally saying this, y'all. It's late, it's April. It's late at night. And I'm like, God, I need a sign. And I'm like, I just need to know that he's still with me, that he's still here. Like, Lord, let him show me that he's here. So, and so, and so I was like, God, if he's here, make some birds come out the trees. I promise y'all, this is what I said. I said, make some birds fly out the trees. And when I tell y'all, like 5 birds came flying out the trees, like instantly. And so, I'm sorry. So I kept talking. I'm like, oh my God. I'm asking my brother, I'm like, you seen that? And he like, yeah. And me and him, I had like supernatural experiences together before. Like, he the only person I have really, like, who have witnessed supernatural things happen with me, like, together. And he's gifted in his way too. We got our own gifts. He be watching my videos, so let me not go too far because he might get on my head. But we got our own gifts, but we have experienced stuff together. And so and I feel like that's another divine connection with me and him too. But so I'm like, okay, God, if he's here, I was like, now I'm talking to him, like my ex. I'm like, if you here with me, make the bloom dance, because he was a dancer. Like, he loved music. He was always so up, like full of life of the party. So I was like, make these bloom dance. And when I tell y'all, these blooms started moving like crazy. So I'm like, is there a wind? I'm like, do you feel any wind or anything? He's like, nah. I'm like, he here with me. So that gave me peace. They gave me peace. And but that's what led me to the tarot readers, because I just wanted to hear from him so bad. So shortly after his death, like the end of that year, I ended up meeting my kingdom spouse. Now, my ex was a little rough around the edges. Okay, he was a little rough around the edges, and we were still young or whatever. But so I met my kingdom spouse, and my kingdom spouse is older than me. He's 20 years older than me. He's but he remind me so much of my ex, but like a well put together version of my ex. And he just remind me so much, like his energy, like the way he just act, like just the way he act, it just remind me of my ex. And it's just so crazy because it's like everything about it just remind me of my ex. It's so crazy because even like with their parents, both of their parents got multiple kids, but they love, love that one. Like, they love their other kids, I'm sure, but it's like that bond with that one child is like deep. And like, it's just so different from my ex. I mean, it's just like so crazy. But for them, like, if you see them, it's just they just, anyways, they remind me so much of each other with the way they act. But my Keenan spouse is just more put together than my ex was. And so I met my Keenan spouse shortly after that. And then I started to like start dreaming about my Keenan spouse. I started to like have these little moments about my Keenan spouse when I met him. After I met him, I started having these little moments about him. And I think I told in another video how I prophesied him like a year prior to meeting my Keenan spouse. I prophesied about what I wanted in a husband. So I met him, and I would have these dreams, and these dreams I like were dreams I never had. And shortly after meeting him, I picked up another gift where, like, when I would sleep with a man, like if I lay next to a man, like I don't even have to, like, not sexually, it could just me laying next to a man. I would dream about them, and it would like give me vision. Like I would see who they are. Like God would reveal them to me who they are. And my Kingdom spouse, I want to have these visions about like he was my husband. And so that's how I end up like. So then I already had I started watching the tarot readers because I was trying to find out about I had want to hear from my ex. So I was already into it from the traumatic experience earlier that year. And then later on that year, I met my Kingdom spouse. So only thing I knew about was the tarot readers. I started looking at them for my ex, and then I started looking at them for like to figure out what I was feeling or what was going on with this guy I met. And that's how I started watching tarot readers. But then it was like, okay, it got to be something else. And then I started coming across the Kingdom spouse videos, and that's how I started calling it like the Kingdom spouse. And so when I say Kingdom spouse, it's not like that's like something I see in the Bible. It's just, hey, it's a name that we adopted. That's the name I adopted for this union because I know it's a divine godly union. I just don't want to say godly union. Hey, Kingdom spouse sound better. So I guess it's slang for the spouse God sent me. But people, they will make you feel bad. Like, and the enemy uses us. Like, he used prophets. He used anybody. He can use anybody. And I feel like sometimes, like, I'm not saying that this woman is evil or she's like the enemy or anything, but I feel like her saying that, when she said, I was looking at it like, hmm, maybe it is witchcraft to say that. But then I thought about it. It was like I got God convicted me, right? Like the Holy Spirit convicted me right then and there, and was like, no, this is what it is. And the enemy will use people to say things, but just because she haven't experienced it, people want to throw witchcraft on everything. Oh, that's evil, and then it play with your mind. And then he's like, oh well, maybe he ain't my kingdom spouse, so let me go look for another spouse because there's no such thing as a kingdom spouse. And if God told you something, that's what God told you. Maybe she haven't experienced this kind of love. Maybe she haven't experienced this kind of union, so she don't understand what this union is. So she just say, "Hey, it's not real," and that's witchcraft because people get so comfortable with that word and get so comfortable with frowning and shining upon people when they don't understand something. And that's why I don't get caught up in like the witchcraft thing. If I see somebody putting spells on people or doing anything evil like that, then I'm like, oh no. And as far as me and the median and things like that, I wouldn't do that again. I never even got a chance to speak with a median about my ex, but that's what I did. That's how I got into the tarot readers and things like that because I didn't know no better. I mean, I was just hurting and I needed something. So, and that's why it's not good to judge people because you just never know why people do the things they do, what they're looking for, what happened, or whatever. That's my reason for getting into it, but that's not what I came here for. I just wanted to tell y'all about the Kingdom spouse, how um I started talking about Kingdom spouse and like just talking about the TikTok about the girl saying that Kingdom spouse is not real, it's witchcraft. And that bothered me because it did kind of have me first like, is she right? But then I had to think about it like, God, this is what God told me. He may not told her yet, you know? And that's on her, you know? And he probably told her something that he ain't told me yet. And that's just fine. But you can't let people get in your mind because the enemy will use these people play with your head to stop you from God gift and God promises and the things that God has for you. So, girl, stay on your kingdom spouse, honey. Keep praying. Keep the faith. Men do the same thing. And that was another thing she was saying too. She was like, it ain't no men on that kingdom spouse thing. No men believe in it. And I have a good amount of men that follows me and they comment and they watch my videos and they talk about their kingdom wives. So that's a lie. So y'all just stay on it and stay faithful and don't get corrupt by these people. If your spirit telling you that that's not real, then maybe you need to consult with God and just go from there. But if your spirit telling you that it is real and that it is true, then that's what you do and you just follow that. But don't let people get in your head because it's so easy to get manipulated and feel like, oh, maybe I'm doing the wrong thing. But how you know that you're the one doing the wrong thing? If that's what the Holy Spirit told you, that's what they told you. Maybe they doing the wrong thing. And you just go with what your spirit said. That's why we got to live a spiritual life. God is a spiritual being. That's why I'm not religion, because I am a spiritual being. Like, I am spiritual. I'm not religion because you know, if we follow nothing but the Bible, we follow nothing but religion, we will miss out on a lot of God messages. We will miss out on a lot of God blessings because everything is not textbook. Sometimes you got to go within and find out what God is telling you. That's all I have because I've been here a long time. Too long. 21 minutes. I love y'all. Have a blessed day. Bye.